All right, Biden questioned tonight about repeatedly invoking former President Obama's name on the campaign trail as he continues to defend his own record on civil rights. Let's talk about it with former Bernie Sanders 2016 staffer Tezlyn Figaro and Republican pollster Chris Wilson. Great to have both of you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so writing in the Washington Post, Jennifer Rubin has an opinion piece, and it's entitled "Now Biden Apologizes." She says his attitude, how he'd been before, was part of an overall strategy to ignore his primary opponents and engage directly with President Trump. He can now benefit by being yanked back into the primary race from his premature general election campaign. I mean, Chris, that's certainly how it felt from the beginning with him.
Yeah, well, it was like most things Jennifer Rubin writes, I would find that very wrong and not even applicable to the situation here. I think what Biden's finding is that he is having a warm welcome to Democratic politics in 2020, and it's not like anything he experienced before. He is having to own up to comments he made in the past, which was a more genteel, sort of cordial Washington, but it was also a Washington which he made comments about people that current Democrat primary voters rightfully find distasteful. And I think the worst part about all of this is he's now going, as he goes on his apology tour, that he expects people who he feels like he was there for in the past, namely the Obamas, to be there for him, and they're just not. Not only did the former president fail to endorse him, but now his wife did, and I'm sure he'll say eventually that he also asked Michelle Obama not to endorse him. He probably asked Sasha Malia not to endorse him either. We're probably just a couple days away from that. But through all this process, that she wouldn't even stand up for him and take his side. Her comment was, she said no comment when they asked if she had any comments about his apologies. And she's probably the one person who could have said, you know, I know Joe Biden and this doesn't represent who he is, but she failed to do so. And I think that's a real problem for him, and you're going to see him continue to drop in the polls because of it.
Well, under the headline, Biden sure could use Obama's endorsement right about now. Will he get it? The article says this: Obama remains a hugely popular figure with the Democratic base. Biden has drafted behind Obama to the White House twice already. This time he's going to have to be the lead car. Tezlyn, can he get there without help from the Obamas? And do you think at any point they would step up to his defense?
Well, you know, he should be able to get there on his own. He's running for president of the United States. It's not Michelle Obama's job or Barack Obama's job to make sure that he's elected. They had to become elected. President Obama had to be elected on his own. But let's not forget, this apology tour started with Tom Perez apologizing to black women. We've had Senator Harris apologize for her truancy law. We've had Senator Warren apologize for believing her grandmother when she said she was Native American. And we've had Mayor Pete apologize to black folks on last week. So it's going to continue to be an apology tour. I'm looking forward to Sanders and Biden to apologize for the crime bill. But once we move past all of the apologies, let's focus on the policies. The apologies just won't work, saying I'm sorry without really providing specific policies that can address a lot of these issues. So it'll fall on deaf ears. The poll numbers will continue to go down if we're not dealing with the issues at hand. And I think Vice President Joe Biden has realized that he can't just take advice of saying never apologize for nothing. His numbers have fallen quite a bit behind not taking ownership.
Okay, you mentioned poll numbers. We have some new numbers from ABC News and the Washington Post, and they put Trump up against a number of these candidates. He's down 14 points head-to-head with Biden, down 8 to Harris, down 7 to Warren, down 6 to Sanders. Chris, do you think there's any need for concern at this point? We're a long ways out, and we've seen polls all over the place when you look back at history where people were 15 months out.
We have. And if there's anything 2016 should teach us, it's to probably not pay any attention to national polls anymore. There are only a few states that really matter in this. As we know, in 2016, it came down to about 77,000 and change votes that made the difference between Donald Trump being president and Hillary Clinton being president. So if we want to know where things stand today, we need to be looking at swing states. And I think it's really a mistake for us to focus on national polls. But the one number you didn't show there is Donald Trump versus a socialist candidate. And that whenever they asked that as a head-to-head, Donald Trump won. And I really think that's what we're going to get down to, is if the Democrats nominate someone who's easily defined as a socialist, it plays right into the president's hands. Because if he can make this a race between capitalism versus socialism, Shannon, he's going to win on election day.
Okay, I want to quickly note something else from the poll. Bolstered by a strong economy, Donald Trump reached the highest job approval rating of his career and 51% approval of Trump's handling of the economy, more than half for the first time in his presidency. Tezlyn, quick final word to you on the good news in that poll for the president.
Well, I mean, of course it's good news for people that support President Trump. I don't think Democrats are really running on the economy. They should be mentioning how they can improve the economy. But to me, it's simply about they just don't like Trump, bottom line, and they don't like his morale and what he's done to the country. So they're going to have a tough time with getting down to the general. But first they have to win the primary, and I think Joe Biden understands that.
All right, Tezlyn and Chris, thank you both very much. Good to see you.
You bet. Thank you.